Irvine on the podium. Representing the Anteaters, we have head coach David Kniffin, sophomore outside hitter Joel Schneidmiller, and freshman middle blocker Johnny Bowles. Coach, we'll go ahead and start out with a couple of opening comments, and then we'll open it up for student-athlete questions, followed by questions for the coach. Thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, these are the moments in sports that are very real. It hurts losing. I think about these guys, and sometimes it's hard to find the right words in a locker room moment. But I would just communicate to these guys and the rest of our team. It hurts to lose. Got a lot of love for these guys, and think about these guys as my kids, and my wife and I think about them as kind of our kids and family in a way. And think about what would your kids want you saying about you in a moment like this, and what would you as a parent want to say about your kids in a moment like this, or a coach? And I'm definitely disappointed in the outcome tonight. I thought we had some opportunities where we could have played better. I think it's hard to get traction against a great team like Hawaii. And I am still exceptionally proud of this team, who we are, what we're about. And if we zoom away from this one moment in time and pull it back to 10 days or 10 years and look at everything this is about for them, I think we can look back and learn a lot from this. But still really proud of them.
All right, we'll go ahead and open it up for questions for the student athletes.
Joel, powerful words from your coach. How did you take what he has taught you throughout the season and going into tonight, how you guys played?
Yeah, I mean, he's been stressing, as I came into this program, last year, the biggest thing that he kept relaying to me was that this is a family that I was coming into, and he definitely meant every part of that. And I love my brothers out there, love my coaches, and it's hard to go down like this. But I think we had a good season, a lot of ups and downs. But I think one thing that we did do is finish on an upward trend towards the end of the season, which I'm proud of us for.
Johnny, you're a freshman. You've seen a lot this year, but going into this atmosphere, going into this type of situation, what did you learn from it?
Hawaii brought a great atmosphere tonight. It was an awesome experience, and I'm so grateful to be a part of this program and to be a part of this moment. And wish we could have finished with a different result, but I'm proud of us as a squad.
Joel, tonight didn't go the way you guys wanted, but a lot to really capitalize on from this year going into next year. What do you take away to be prepared for next year for another strong Big West Conference?
Well, I mean, I think we still need to focus on this year because, I mean, it's not over yet. Anything can happen, come Sunday. So I think that's what we're going to keep focusing on.
Any other questions for the student athletes? Okay, thank you guys. You can go back to the locker room right now, and we'll continue on with Coach Kniffin. We'll go ahead and take questions now for Coach.
Coach, Joel hit a great point that this year there's still maybe something left to play for. Like, what do you take going from tonight in the tournament altogether to prepare for the next challenge possibly?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's, one of the things we set out to do this season was play the toughest schedule possible. And that involves, playing in the best environments. Obviously, this environment was chosen for us by nature of the fact this is the Big West Championship site. This is one of the most difficult places to play, and especially when you're playing against Hawaii. It's a different thing when you're playing, neutral court match in Hawaii against, San Diego or Santa Barbara or Northridge or even a Long Beach. I think it's a lot different when you're playing against Hawaii at Hawaii. And people have felt that over the years and decades even. So, taking it, if we're fortunate enough to, go to the Pyramid, we're taking experience from this incredibly difficult environment to that incredibly difficult environment. There's a reason we played 20 matches on the road this year, 20-plus matches on the road, and that's because we wanted to be prepared for that. I don't know where we'll finish in terms of RPI and strength of schedule, but we're probably top 5 in both, and it's certainly messy. There's a clearly defined number 1 and number 2 in the country right now, and they're both in the Big West. And I would say after that, I would argue that it's probable that number 3 and number 5 are also in the Big West. So I'll be curious to see what happens.
Focusing on tonight, what decided the game or the match for you guys tonight that kind of went the way that it did? What did you see from your perspective?
From my perspective, we never got going, and that makes it really tough. I mean, Hawaii doesn't give you a lot of opportunities to get your feet back under you once they get up on you. I mean, they're just a very good, disciplined team playing in a place where they're very comfortable. In essence, you go into tonight, they were playing very free, and I think this is really our first potentially elimination match that we faced. Last night we got a little bit of a taste of it, but there are just different pressures as you get into playoffs, and as seasoned as we are in some places, we've got some young personalities on the court, and I think we grew a lot tonight. I think the thing that was interesting is even when we got way down in set 2 and jumped out to a 1-7 lead, we closed that gap kind of throughout the game. We just never got our full footing back, and we weren't in a position we were going to run 6 points on Hawaii. So we'll have to do a better job of keeping that tighter earlier on, and then just letting those deuce game moments kind of figure themselves out where somebody makes one play that breaks it open instead of kind of breaking ourselves open really early in each set.
Now, as we've stated, there's still maybe something to play for, but as a coach, looking forward, a lot of young guys saw some experience tonight. What did you want them to take away from playing such a big atmosphere and looking towards the future?
I think you got to love this. I mean, that was my hope coming in here, and remains my hope kind of as we coach and go through this. Is these guys give up. I mean, they make choices about what their college experience is going to be like. And when you make the choice to play Division I men's volleyball at a place like Irvine, and I would presume at a place like Long Beach or Hawaii that are continuing on, you're making choices to spend 4 or 5 hours a day sometimes on this stuff. And it's not just the practice time, it's not just the weights time. You're with these guys all the time, and you're playing volleyball even when you have your time off. You're heading down to the beach if you're at Irvine, and you're playing volleyball there, and you've got to have a passion for it. You've got to really love it. So to be in a place like this tonight, to feel what that's like when there's, whatever the final count was on attendance, probably 8,000 people here tonight, to be surrounded by that, my hope is that they love those moments and they're hungry to get back into those moments, because it's fun to play volleyball, and it's fun to play volleyball in great environments like this.
Coach, how do you see tomorrow's match between Hawaii and Long Beach?
I see it real similar to what you saw at the Pyramid. I think you've got two teams that understand each other exceptionally well. They've just played each other. They've just played each other well. I would expect the environment of being in Hawaii to play in a little bit, but at the same time, both those teams are about as acclimated to this environment as they can be. I would expect a highly potent offensive match. I would expect pretty big time serving from both of those teams. And then I would expect a couple plays to be made defensively that could be the things that really turn the tide for one team or the other.
Hey, Coach, it's been a pretty good year for men's volleyball in the Big West Conference as a whole. 4 teams that have been in the top 4 or 5 at various times. And I was curious, how do you think the conference shapes up, looking to 2020, and can the Big West kind of remain at this high level of men's volleyball?
Yeah, no guarantees in sports, that's for sure. But when you look at the move to separate out the teams under the Big West umbrella, I think what you saw was a real commitment from the administrations within those schools to say, hey, volleyball is important, volleyball is iconic, volleyball is something that we want as a representative kind of sport or flagship sport for our schools. So I think you're seeing a lot of support in men's volleyball. Obviously, the Big West Conference, just having that conference umbrella over it, you get that kind of vision and leadership of saying, hey, you know what, let's put the Big West Championship in Hawaii. Let's get 10,000 people in Stan Sheriff Center. Let's make volleyball look as important as it can be. And I think the professionalism of the conference has been huge for us. I think there's going to be talent across the country. There's a lot of good teams out there that aren't in the Big West. But just the nature of kind of the organization and the commitment, you know, from the conference itself to those schools and the administrations within that conference, I would suspect Big West will be strong for as long as Big West is around.
Anything else for Coach? All right, thank you so much.